Are there any questions? I'll entertain some questions about this.
Sorry. The fact that the planning board in their previous wisdom passed that review criteria, site plan review criteria for the Acciona part of this project, now that British Petroleum has taken over that project, if we continue and leave their application open, will that final EIS on that portion of the project still be bona fide? And will we have to abide by that criteria? Or does our new zoning law overrule that?
That's a very good question. I made it very clear to Mr. Edsel from the beginning that I didn't use the hen house analogy, but I made it clear to him that the tail was not going to wag the dog, and that I was taking that decision because there was no discussion, there was no due diligence. There, you know, I mean, prove it. Did you people actually review the criteria that were suggested by Mr. Conboy? And there is no information, there's no documentation that there was any discussion about it, unless to me, it is a completely open issue. And that is something that I would entertain a motion to dismiss.
Would the fact that this board now, which would make those determinations for the remainder of the project, is a completely different and totally different board, would that have any bearing on that?
Yes, it will, and I was going to read the letter that Mr. Chandler sent to the town, and it went, because it was addressed to the town, it went to Mr. Hershey's office, making some accusations that that the two applications had gotten positive response. Well, BP's never got past the draft, the initial draft, and I think we all can agree that there is enough documentation regarding the actions of the attorney representing the past planning board and how he interacted with the town's engineers that it was a very open question, and there was enough reason to question whether or not the science and what was presented by both Acciona and BP were sufficient.
So, based on that, if you did leave their application open, then they would be basically starting from scratch with their entirely new proposed project, and that would follow. Well, that's still a question. You're not sure
that things have grown to 250 megawatt
right.
area. I consider this a completely new project.
So based on that, would this planning board take into consideration that if BP is willing, which they haven't committed themselves one way or the other yet,
right.
If they're willing, that this board should leave it open for British Petroleum to make their application through this local siting? You folks have the lead agency right now. There's really no good reason for you to throw that away.
Well,
if we have confidence in our zoning law, and if we think that it would be the zoning law that would be applied to it, then there would be no reason for you to throw that lead agency away.
Oh, excuse me. I don't believe that this board has any intentions of relinquishing lead agency status. It's a gray issue because we don't know what BP's intentions are regarding both of these applications. And it's a gray issue because technically Article 10 says anything above 25 megawatts is under Article 10 and could be assumed by the state. To me, I would think if the state heard from BP that they wish to present a brand new let's go back. They would have to address whether or not they would accept the termination of what they had already been, what they proposed and what they assumed from Acciona as what Acciona proposed. They're going to have to either, they're going to have to respond to us about what they feel is still live and what is not so much. If they, to me, I would think the state would say, gee whiz, if we don't have to take on this site plan review and the EIS with BP, if Cape Vincent wants to, let them have it. If BP wants to do that, fine. I can't assure anybody that they're going to be happy with what happens.
I'm certainly, and it's probably not likely that they will do that, but my point is, and I'll just make one last comment, that from the point of the town of Cape Vincent, we've just passed a new zoning law, and we've made it perfectly clear that we're open to growth in Cape Vincent, and we have a new comprehensive plan, and we're open to anybody to apply into Cape Vincent for development, as long as they're willing to get a permit from the town of Cape Vincent.
Right.
And that has to go through our zoning law. So I don't see why we wouldn't make that clear to British Petroleum, make that clear to New York State, that we're willing, perfectly willing, to have BP go through our local siting process. And if they choose not to, that makes quite a public statement of what their intentions are. And that would be my...
The shoe is, the ball is in their court.
Yes.
I mean, this was, that's why I did not want to make this a precipitous move and with all due respect to the town board, I mean, there's some large issues here, and I think the town board would want us to be thoughtful stewards of this process.